Hi everyone, this is Grace here, and I hope you all are doing well. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about what I think, in my experience, is the one and only thing that actually works when it comes to dealing with panic attacks. So let's get started. When I first started having panic attacks, they used to last pretty long, maybe sometimes 45 minutes or so, and I reached out for help. I reached out to therapists, not one but a few. I reached out to a couple of friends whom I knew had had panic attacks and anxiety, and they gave me some suggestions which I tried. Things like using an ice pack on your face, holding ice, splashing cold water on your face, drinking water, humming, distracting yourself, all of those things. I tried these things, and what started happening is I actually thought that these things, all these things, these so called hacks, are making the panic attack better. But what they were doing is just distracting me or making it more bearable for me to deal with these intense, uncomfortable feelings that a panic attack brings. And then I realized that I am now constantly living in fear of the next panic attack. That what if the next one comes when I'm outside, or when I'm alone, or when I'm attending a function, or when I do not have access to an ice pack, or when my friend is not available to talk to me and to calm me down, which kept me in search of solutions. And that's when I came across the work of Dr. Claire Weeks. And what I'm going to share with you in today's video is absolutely entirely based on her work. Dr. Claire Weeks is a pioneer in the space of anxiety, and her book, Hope and Help for Your Nerves, is especially beneficial to anybody who is dealing with anxiety and panic attacks. If you are having those, I strongly recommend you read it. Read her books. Also recommend it to anybody, any of your friends who's dealing with this. You can pick up any of her books. More or less the content is the same, is what I have understood. Now, Dr. Claire Weeks, when I first read the book, I understood it logically. What are the steps, what needs to be done. I understood what causes anxiety and how you need to deal with it. So that itself was like a huge cloud lifted, because it takes away a lot of the fear. But practically, when I started applying the techniques, I realized that it took a little bit of trial and error, because in that moment when a panic attack comes over you, it is, it's such a frightening experience that you are not able to think correctly, you're not able to apply those techniques correctly at that time. So it took a little bit of trial and error, which is why I thought, let me explain it to you what I have understood from it and what has worked for me. So Dr. Claire Week suggests, the four steps that she suggests is: you accept it, complete acceptance. Then you float with it. You do not add second fear, and you let time pass. So these are the four things that she suggests. I'm going to break down for you what these four things mean. I have some notes here that I'm going to refer to. Now, the first thing is acceptance. I would say that there are two parts to this acceptance. Firstly, you accept the anxiety itself. And secondly, is accepting each symptom as and when it arises, whether it's the dizziness, whether it's the palpitations, whether it's the panic attack, and all the uncomfortable feelings that come during a panic attack. So I think why this is important is, initially I also found it very difficult to accept that this is anxiety. I had my own resistance towards it, and eventually I had to accept it for what it is. But I think at first there could be some denial, some shock, some shame, because we all have our own perceptions of what we are as people. You may think that you're not the kind of person who will have anxiety, or you may have prejudices about who are the kind of people who get anxiety, or what anxiety is. If you think it's a mental, if you consider it as a mental illness, and you, in your mind itself, it's a taboo topic, it's not going to be easy for you when you have those symptoms yourself, and it's going to bring sadness, it's going to bring denial, it's going to require you to introspect a little bit about the fact that this is happening to you, and what is your reaction to your own situation. So I know that happened to me, and fortunately I didn't stay in that stage for too long, because remember, the longer you stay in denial, the longer you are keeping recovery from you. So the more you keep looking for other reasons for your anxiety and panic attack, that oh, maybe it's because I was dehydrated, or it's blood pressure issues, or it's my thyroid, or it's my hormones. Those things could cause anxiety, but the anxiety is what it is. You need to look at it for what it is, and accept it for what it is. And the sooner you do that, the quicker you are going to get onto the path of recovery. Another thing, why I think acceptance is important, is because then You are not trying to hide it from people. You are not afraid that what if somebody finds out, what if my friends find out that I have anxiety, or what if I tomorrow end up having a panic attack when I'm outside, or I become uncomfortable when I'm outside. So let me just stay at home. Let me not go to this social um, appointment. Let me not go to a situation where there will be too much crowd. Let me just, keep avoiding things, keep avoiding triggers. Let me just make my own little safe space and stay there. That is only going to fuel the anxiety further. And also, the more you try to hide it, the when you're trying to hide something, it it automatically causes fear inside of you. So imagine what is going to happen when you're going to try to hide the fact that you have anxiety. I'm not saying that you need to wear it as a badge of honor, or make a WhatsApp status about it, or put it on Instagram, or tell people. But be okay with the fact that if somebody finds out that you have anxiety, no matter who that person is, be come to terms with the fact that it's okay. Even if it's that one person whom you do not want to divulge any details of your personal life, mentally be okay with the fact that even if this person finds out, and even if this person judges me, it's okay. And I think that also is like is going to be a huge weight lifted off your shoulders, because the social pressure that a lot of us have about how we are going to be judged when people find out that we have anxiety, or that we are having a panic attack, or the fact that will people laugh at us, or make fun of us, or talk about us, when that itself adds to a lot of fear around panic and anxiety. So which is why I think it's first important to just accept it. Take your time, question yourself, ask yourself, what is it that I'm really afraid of, and one by one work on it, and just accept the fact that I have anxiety, I do have panic attacks from time to time, and this is what it is. So this is the first part of acceptance. The second part of acceptance is accepting the panic attacks and accepting the physical symptoms of anxiety for what they are, as in when they appear. Now this will be, you will understand this better in the other 3 points of this technique. So let me go to the second point. Now, coming to the second point, floating. Floating means carrying on doing whatever it is that you would be doing had the panic attack not been there. So, let's say if the panic attack was not there at that time, you would be out jogging, or you would be playing with your kids, or you would be talking on the phone, or you would have gone for a movie. Whatever it is that you would be doing, you have to pretend that the panic attack is not there, and just continue doing it. Float meaning you just in this zombie mode, just doing it while the panic attack is there side by side, and you continue doing whatever it is that you would have been doing had it not been there. Now I completely understand that this is not going to be very easy, especially initially. Even when I read this in the book, I thought, oh yes, this is all I have to do, I will do it. And I then understood that when the panic attack comes, there are some things that I'm comfortable doing, and there are some things that I'm not comfortable doing. And I would typically reach out for things that I'm comfortable doing. For example, I would want to be alone. I would want to be by myself. I would not want to be talking to somebody at that time. And I thought that I am accepting it, but I was accepting it in the comfort of my when in my comfort zone, I was okay accepting it. So I was not really floating with it. One day, what happened is I was in a shoe store, and I had a sudden spell of dizziness. I had had dizziness before that due to anxiety itself. So I knew I'm not going to collapse, I'm not going to faint. It's dizziness caused by anxiety. It was a strong dizzy spell, and I immediately decided to go home, to leave the store. And when I sat in the car, I started feeling a little bit anxious, and I felt the panic coming on. And on the way, I realized that, I realized that this is not accepting, this is not floating, this is called freaking out. I should not have left the store. When I felt the panic coming on, I should not have left the store. And that's when it clicked that this is what I am doing wrong. I should have stayed in the store with those feelings of dizziness, with that feeling of panic coming on, looking at the shoes, trying the shoes, asking for help for the shoes that I wanted, making my purchase if I had to, getting out of the store, and then coming home normally as I would have had the panic symptoms not come on. But I think that was a turning point when I realized what I was doing wrong. So as soon as, and by the time I reached home that day, the panic attack was in its full glory. And normally I would have gone inside my bedroom and just been by myself, thinking that I'm accepting the panic attack and waited for it to pass. But that day, after that moment when I realized my mistake, I decided to not go in, and I went and took a walk in the neighborhood. And I happened to meet some neighbors. They were playing with their kids. While the panic attack was on, I was talking to them. I was playing with their kids, interacting with them. And the beautiful thing is that, when you float with things, when you continue doing whatever it is that you had to do, it it automatically becomes as a distraction. You are no longer hyper focused on your body and on your symptoms, and the panic attack fades away on its own. It fades away on its own. You do not need to do anything. No ice packs, no water, no sour foods, to snap you out of the panic. None of those things. No listening to soothing music. None of those props are required. So that was a turning point where I understood what floating means. One thing I will suggest is that, what helped is making a mental note that whenever the panic attack comes, this is what I will do and this is what I will not do. For instance, in the earlier few episodes where I first had panic attacks, I would reach out to a few friends saying that, I'm having panic attack right now, can we chat? Or I made sure that I had my ice pack handy. So I first decided that the next time it comes, I'm not going to reach out to anybody, I'm going to deal with it by myself. And then, because I had made a mental note of what I'm going to do, it just became easier for me, because at that moment, your brain literally stops working, and you really wish that there was a magic button that you could press and the panic attack would stop. So I hope I have been able to explain clearly what floating means. Coming back to that, I just want to say that floating means carrying on with your life, doing whatever it is that you would have done without the panic attack being there. You have to go ahead and do that. The third point is about not adding second fear. This is a very interesting term. This term again is coined by Dr. Claire Weeks, and I think it's a very beautiful and powerful term coined by her. And I think the key in recovery or to successfully deal with panic attacks is when you are no longer afraid of it. See, you understand that panic attacks are frightening, but when you are no longer afraid of them, that is really when you start making headway in your recovery from anxiety. And when you start understanding this concept, the concept of not adding second fear, and you apply this concept to every physical symptom that you have, and even the mental symptoms like the intrusive thoughts, that's when it is so empowering. Now, what does this really mean? Don't add second fear. Second fear is the fear that we feel when we have a panic attack, or when we have any physical symptoms of, let's say, palpitations or chest pain or dizziness, or the nerve symptoms that come, the tingling, the numbness, the twitching, all of those symptoms that come, and even the feeling of fear, the feelings or the thoughts that, what if this anxiety becomes worse and we lose our mind someday. Basically, every fear that we have that comes after we have had our panic attack or after we have developed anxiety. It's like your way of thinking, your life situation, um, all the stresses that you've gone through, your response to those, all of that has caused anxiety to you in the first place, correct? Now, the fear that you have because you have developed this, that is what second fear is. And so basically, second, not having second fear means don't freak out, chill, relax, let it be, don't make a big deal about it. This is what not having second fear means in short. This requires two things for you to master this. Don't add second fear. You need to have knowledge, you need to have the right information, because if you don't have the right information, if I had not come across the work of Dr. Claire Weeks, if I had not seen those videos which are made by so many YouTubers where they are specifically talking about their experience, based on the work of Dr. Claire Weeks, there is so much I would not have learned. If I didn't have the information, I would be myself struggling, going around in circles, and trying to find out how do I recover from this. So knowledge, the right information, understand correctly why this is happening and what it's doing. Why does a panic attack happen? Why does anxiety happen? Understanding that is the first thing. And the second thing is practice. Practice, constantly keep reminding yourself, keep telling yourself that it's just anxiety. I don't have any physical issues. It's just that my body is taking some time to recalibrate. I don't need to go on Google every time and look for what is the diagnosis. I don't need to book a consultation with a doctor to find out what are these physical symptoms. Every time I have palpitations, I don't need to go for an ECG or a cardiac evaluation. So these are the things where, or I don't need to get scared. Basically, it's about what is your response to your symptoms, to your situation. That is what it means by don't add second fear, because your anxiety symptoms, it's like a fire. It's there already. The anxiety is there. It's going to die its natural death if it's left alone. But when you are adding second fear is like the oil being poured in, and then it keeps the fire burning. The more second fear you keep adding, you keep getting scared, you keep googling, you keep going on to forums and saying, does anybody have this symptom, does anybody have that symptom? Every time you have a panic attack, you keep going back. What does it mean when the panic attack keeps recurring? What does it mean when setbacks happen? Tell me some solution which will stop the panic attack. I know, because I have done these kind of things, so I'm not ridiculing you or making fun of it. I know when you are in the pits of it, what it feels like. And which is why I think, when I understood that just let the anxiety be, don't be afraid, that comes with practice. When I started just leaving it alone, it dies its natural death. And the same thing during a panic attack, don't start pacing and thinking, oh, I if something goes wrong, I hope they're able to rush me to the hospital soon. Oh, I don't want people to find out, oh my god, what if this lasts 40 minutes and doesn't stop? Don't start thinking all of these things. This is what adding second fear means. So the concept of second fear can be used with any symptom, not just with panic attacks. It can be used with any symptom of anxiety, like dizziness, anxious thoughts, a fast heartbeat. That's what second fear means. Now, coming to the fourth point, which is letting time pass. I think this is self-explanatory. Letting time pass means just, not bothered about time, not time, how long has the panic attack lasted, or, this time it's 6 minutes, last time it was 8 minutes, so there is recovery, or this time it's 10 minutes, last time it was only 5 minutes, so I think I'm, doing worse than before. Or just, waiting for, if you know that your panic attacks last for 10 minutes or so, just waiting, when are these 10 minutes going to get over so that I can get on with life. You just give it time, don't bother. So in terms of the panic attack or the symptoms of anxiety, I would say, if you have done and if you have understood the first three steps correctly, that is acceptance, accepting the anxiety, accepting the symptoms for what they are. Two, floating with the symptoms, carrying on with your life as if the symptoms didn't exist, as if the panic attacks didn't exist. And the third point, not adding second fear, not scanning your body for symptoms, not getting afraid, not letting the fear of the panic attack overcome you. If you do these three things correctly, the fourth point kind of happens on its own. It just happens naturally, where you are not, you just let time pass, because it doesn't really matter. You are busy with your life. You're not letting the anxiety hold you back. So in the four steps, this is per se what the fourth step means, letting time pass. But also, I would say, in looking at it from the broader perspective of anxiety recovery, I would say that don't look at your recovery in terms of days or weeks or months, or don't time it. I'm pretty sure that we all will remember the first day we had our first panic attack, or the first day we had that palpitations episode which took us to the ER or the casualty, and we thought we were having a heart attack. Somehow I think we would all remember that first date, and then we keep at least mentally making a note of these so-called anniversaries, that it's been a month, it's been 3 months since that first episode, it's been 6 months since that first episode, and then we try and gauge where are we on our anxiety recovery journey, or our anxiety journey itself, from that first day onwards. But I would say we should just let go of these dates and this time frame, and not bother whether it's been 6 months or 3 months, or whatever time it's been, because it really doesn't matter. Once you know what are the tools to recovery, once you know what these four steps are, just apply these four steps to the physical symptoms of the panic attack and the physical symptoms of anxiety. So now these four steps, the acceptance, floating with it, not adding second fear, and letting time pass, this technique, so to say, is applicable to how to deal with a panic attack and how to deal with the physical symptoms of anxiety. But dealing with anxiety itself, or anxiety recovery itself, is not just about these four steps. It is about it's looking at the way you think, looking at your the way you respond to life, the way you respond to stressful situations. It's a lot deeper than that, and it's a long term approach. It's, maybe I would say, overhauling your entire life if required. But till you are stuck in this circle of dealing with the physical symptoms of anxiety, which can be so overwhelming and so bewildering, because every day is a different story. So I think just having these tools to first deal with a panic attack and to deal with the physical symptoms of anxiety is very important and is a key to your healing and your recovery. Because once you're not stuck with the constant scanning of physical symptoms, constant fear of panic attacks, your overall stress levels reduce remarkably. And then you can really, look at healing the anxiety from a more broader perspective. I hope this video has been helpful. I really, if you have any questions, please leave it in the comments, and I will 100% reply to each and every question. I really hope that each of you is able to get value from this video. If you have liked it, please give me a thumbs up and do share this with anybody who is dealing with anxiety and panic attacks. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself. Bye.